That whole 60 minutes that we did, make sure that you go back and watch that, because it was kind of the prelude to today's discussion, and we're kind of leading on with that. So I want you to really have like storytelling 101 under your belt, and then circle back to video storytelling. And I'm going to talk about some of my tricks and trends today, how I use it personally, and I hope that you start incorporating it. So let me share my screen here really quick. Okay. Here we go. And let's just jump right into this for a minute. I'm a huge video user, and I'm a huge proponent of it for so many different reasons. And so, hold on, I can't seem to get this video recording thing off my screen. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about effective video marketing. Now, I just want to make it really crystal clear that you are not replacing email marketing, social media marketing, human marketing. That's a new one. Yeah, really, human marketing should be your first thing. Okay, these are only tools that help supplement you being an amazing individual. And I want to put that out there. You need to be amazing first. Okay, human marketing is still right up here. Okay, use all your human skills. These are just add-ins to help you be more dynamic, be more successful. And I know that we've talked about this before, that a lot of you start to cringe when you hear video marketing, because then you're thinking two things, like, I need to lose 50 pounds. I just had 12 kids, which I've had 4, so I know. You're thinking, I don't look good. I don't sound good on video. I don't even know how to start. So we're going to get past some of those things today. And I want to make this a little bit more interactive, because I feel like anytime I teach a video marketing class, a lot of people have questions. So I want you to get those questions ready. So first of all, video marketing has a lot to do with a lot of different elements of content. Okay. So just look at this graphic for a minute, and you can see that, you know, it has to do with your website. It helps your traffic go up. There needs to be a strategy. There needs to be a target group. You need to concentrate on SEO, feedback, analysis, research. And then all of a sudden you're like, shoot, I don't want to do video. That's like too much. I just wanted to shoot a video and process it. So we're going to break this down to make it a lot easier, so you can work on pieces of it today and, you know, determine where you can really shine. I don't want you to walk away from this feeling overwhelmed. I want you to write down 3 things that you can do after this presentation today to start video marketing in your marketing plan. Okay. So first of all, really important to know how your audience can grow with video. I use this slide a lot all over the world when I speak, because I think when you see the return that you can get on video, all of a sudden you're going to think like, I wish I was doing this 10 years ago even. COVID has given us this big boost to be able to present a lot more video content than we had prior to COVID. Things really came out really quickly, and in the video marketing world. And I regret every single day I didn't jump on the YouTube train 10 years ago, when my cousin, who I talked about him a lot, the $200,000 a day consultant for YouTube, jumped on right in the beginning. And I've learned a lot from him. I still don't have a YouTube channel up and going, even though I'm related to like the biggest name in YouTube. Because being a content creator is a full-time job, and I'm a travel advisor. And so that's what I want to say to you is like, yeah, we should have, would have, all of those different things 10 years ago when video first came out, but we didn't, because we sell travel. And I want you to keep that in the forefront of your mind, is your job is selling more travel, being a better advisor. Content's a side issue, okay? Because content can be a full-time job, and it can be overwhelming. And so I've had to sit back in my place and go, okay, I don't really have the time to be a full-time YouTube content creator. I don't have a full-time full 24 hours in a day to be an Instagrammer and all of these different things. There is a difference between an influencer and an advisor. I work in both realms. I work as an influencer for companies. I also work as an advisor. It's very rare that the influencer, like, you're going to grow to multi-million followers. Okay. Again, those are content creators. They're digital marketers. The people that you see out training in the coaching field, in the industry right now in travel, they're digital marketers. Okay. I'm not sure any of them have stepped foot in an agency even in the last 10 years. Okay. So I want to teach you things that you can do right now. Right now, take away 3 things today. So I want you to be listening, writing down 3 things that you can do. Chad, I know when you pop on that.
I had to jump in just real quick. This is very, very true. There are an ungodly number of gurus and experts coming out over the past 6 months or a year, I'd say. Understand who they are and what the actual value is to you. Angela, I think you nailed it on the head. Many, let's say a significant portion, are digital marketers, and travel is just the widget they're promoting. Many of them have never been in the industry. Just because you haven't been in the industry doesn't mean that you're not, or doesn't mean you're not valuable. It just means your value may be different. So I've just been jumping in every chance I get and telling people, please, there are experts out there that, Steve and I don't know everything by any means, but just be careful. Understand the value that they represent to you in particular. Okay, I just had to toss that in.
Yeah, and there's lots of things that you can take away, but again, you want to be seeing it from, and I love what you always say, Chad, like the boots on the ground type of
Cool
what's
people,
really
dirty
going
boots.
on today. Yeah, moving, happening right now in the industry. I want you to be current with that. So here's a couple of reasons why I think that you're going to want to put video into your marketing plan. Okay. First one is it's a huge boost to conversions and sales. You would be surprised how much business I turn over from doing simple 30-second, 45-second videos. I'm going to show you one right now. Okay. Let me go out to Facebook really quick. I should have this up and ready, but it just came to me. Hold on. I was up in Alaska last week, just on a family vacation with one of my kids who graduated from college. Okay, let me get this up on the screen. Can you see my screen or no? Can you see my Facebook screen or no?
Yes.
Okay, you can. Okay, I've got so many screens going here. I don't know what's happening. Okay, so let me go. And I'm going to talk about this in just a minute, but I just want to show you this quick video that I just threw together. This is a 1.5, the minute I landed. Let me scroll down to it. Here we go. 2 minutes, really quick here. Let me know if you don't see that. Hey, I'm Angela. He's a luxury travel entrepreneur, and I am up in Hubbard Glacier today in Alaska as we kick off our sailing season. Okay, I've got a couple of tips for you if you're thinking about coming to Alaska. The first is that you're going to want to sail from either Vancouver or from Seward. That means you'd have to fly into Anchorage to catch the ship. You are going to get a lot more bang for your buck than if you are doing a Seattle round trip cruise. Okay, you're going to get a lot more of these glaciers on this glacier passage than you are on the inside passage coming from Seattle. Tip number 2, you need to dress warm. Even in the summertime, you want to make sure that you're layering and that you have plenty of protection. Things can change on a dime up here weather-wise. Okay, third, short excursions are at a premium right now. We have less operators up here right now. And so short excursions are selling out faster. You're going to want to make sure you're prepared, whether you do them with the ships or if you do them on your own through a private operator. Finally, you might be asking, what line should I sell onto Alaska? And that all depends on your budget and your personality. We've got all of the major lines selling up here with some of the popular mid-range lines like Princess, Holland America, NCL, Royal Caribbean. And then we move into the premium space where we've got more Celebrity, Viking. And in the luxury space, we've got Regent and Silver Seas. And then we have lots of smaller expedition lines that can help you get up close to the glaciers with zodiacs and more custom designed tours. So listen, if you want to do an extension, consider sailing from Vancouver up to Seward, getting off, and then catching an extension where you can do some time on the land in Denali National Park. So many options to choose from. Can't wait to help get you there. I'm Angela Hughes, the luxury travel entrepreneur. Okay, so that's just kind of a brief look at how easy it is to just create. Tell me if you've got my screen back here, my PowerPoint, but that's how easy it is to just create just interest right off the bat. That wasn't 2 minutes. It didn't have to be scripted. I'm talking from the heart. Those types of things turn sales easily. And then you just kind of continue doing it. And I'm going to show you what my strategy was in Alaska last week. That was the only sales pitch I made right when I got there. That's it. And then I showed the rest of the time. Let me show you this. The rest of the time went to, and we talked about this last time, just telling my story. Now I get tagged in a lot of things here. So can you see my Instagram again? Okay. So showed that video there, gave some tips on the glaciers. Okay. There was not really a call to sell there. The video was enough. Gave some tips on the glaciers and why people would want to do that. Then my next post, again, I'm huge about only doing 4 to 5 photos or videos. People love the video. So I'm just showing, you know, a well, the waterfall, flowers, fun picture of us. Wow, gorgeous waterfalls, bald eagles, da da da. Again, not salesy, just showing how fun it is. Here's us dog sledding, spending time with our kids. Talked about my husband, you know, my son-in-law's job, leaving Goldman Sachs. Got into, let me get back up here because I get a lot of stuff. Getting my Iditarod on with my favorite people. Again, lots of fun video. Interesting, Royal Caribbean actually called me after I posted this. And we had a discussion about this with the rep. She loved just all the showcasing that was going on. And here I just kind of talked right here. To get going here, these dogs are going nuts right now. They're ready, they're all bred for this activity. They've been running the dogs up here for over 10,000 years. They said this is going to be. Okay, so we're all ready to get going here. These dogs are going nuts right now. They're ready, they're all bred for this activity. They've been running the dogs up here for over 10,000 years. They said this has been a major mode of transportation. And so these dogs are bred especially for this. So don't go crazy, dog activists. These dogs are trained for this type of environment, this type of activity, and it's been a part of Alaska culture forever. Yeah, so you can see that you can just, let me get the dog thing off here. Okay, all the dogs are going crazy now. Let me get this off. Yeah, but so what I'm saying is like, things like this video, huge conversion. All of a sudden I was getting more interest in Alaska. People were hitting me. Oh, I didn't know you were up in Alaska, which I'm rarely in Alaska because I live on the East Coast. And so it's just opening up like new market for us. And you're going to want to make sure that when you do travel, that you're doing the excursions that are going to sell people. Like this was a pricey excursion, but I was like, we've got to do it just for the video footage, just for the fun of it. To get people excited about what we're showcasing. And again, that wasn't even 20 seconds where I'm just talking about Iditarod, talking about sled dogging. That is a bucket list item for people in Alaska for sure. Okay, so coming back, conversions are huge. Let's get back to this screen. Video shows huge rate of return on everything. It helps build trust in you as an advisor. You look like you know what you're talking about. It's very, very friendly for mobile users. You notice tons of video. How much video do you watch on your telephone? Think about it. You probably don't know that people watch sometimes 5 to 8 to 12 hours a day of video on their phone. I mean, it's pathetic how much video is being processed now. And that's why Facebook and all of these social media platforms really went more towards an algorithm that supported like video. And a couple of years ago, you saw Facebook change to appeal to more video. So use it because it's out there. Video marketing, you can explain things in 20 seconds. That video I made up in Alaska was probably too long. And we'll talk about links in just a minute, but you can explain almost everything on video. People go to YouTube, listen to this, for explanation and how-tos more than anything. YouTube started out as like a dating site. It kind of failed and it turned into more of a how to do things. And then people really started running with it. Video also engages your laziest buyers because sometimes they're passive. They just want to sit and look. And it encourages a lot of social shares when you have really good quality. Obviously you want to share that with people. And so that's always fabulous. Okay. So one of the biggest questions I always get is what equipment should I be using? And this is a great thing. Most people own an iPhone. And I think the newer, if you can have the newest iPhone, you've got the best cameras in that. I can't speak for Android. I feel like they do probably have better cameras, but I'm tried and true iPhone user to the core. And so I used to shoot professional photography. I shot for 3 years during the recession in 2009 when travel was completely stopped with the stock market. I shot 3 years for the news in freelance and did a bunch of weddings and totally different things. I probably have $20,000 of equipment in my office that is just sitting there collecting dust now from Nikon, which I feel so sad about. But why, when I can carry this around and I'm getting so much better video on it right now, and I can just use it and create it and upload it in 2 seconds. You've got your best camera equipment is what's in your hand.
Angela, I just wanted to get your take on something. I was just talking with Panat actually about promoting our Spectrum program, the special needs program we're developing. And we were talking about, authenticity, my favorite topic. And, we've got cameras and crews and all that kind of stuff to go places, but we feel that for the Spectrum program, given its, kind of special nature, that the authenticity that you create when you just use your cell phone, a good quality one, we're not trying to use, an iPhone 5 or anything, lends to its believability.
Yes.
Can you talk on that just for a sec?
Yeah, I totally believe that. And that's why I feel like personal video footage, you do not need to be a pro, people. And that's what I'm saying to you. People love when I just make mistakes on the air. And I do the Fox 35 News too. You know that I'm a spokesperson for Fox 35 News on travel. That's a little more scripted, not scripted. Yeah. I mean, it's cut. They know exactly what they're going to use, everything. I feel like my best video is my worst video because people love when you make mistakes, you laugh, you correct yourself, you're real. When I first started doing video, I was all makeup, all hair. Now I can't. I mean, I showed up the other night, no face on. Somebody had hit me and they're like, "You're on in 5 minutes" for a paid thing we did at the Luxury Travel University for the Maldives, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm straight out of bed." And they're like, "Hey, 5 minutes till you need to hop on." And I'm like, shoving, makeup on, trying to do and I'm like, what a difference my world has become from when I started doing video. So well, I
don't want to take up too much time, but just real quick, I'm going to tell everybody here a secret behind the Pro Series. It's exactly what we were just talking about. Folks, I want you to see the authenticity. I want you to see two people who have some experience in the industry hammering it out, looking for a file because they had an idea. They thought it was important to show you. Yeah. Look, organization structure, PowerPoints, all that is great. Also, having somebody just tell you what they really think is very important. So I just love the authenticity thing. So again, it's funny. You've got the DJI OM5 smartphone gimbal down there. I have one of those. It was $89.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Because use that kind of stuff. It's easy.
First of all, this ring light, I've got it on me right now. Buy a ring light. I mean, they're $15, people, $15-20 on Amazon. I have the ring light on. It really does help. Better. Even when you're in a sunny room, whatever, just having that additional light on your computer when you're going live with something is a gem. This DJI OM5 smartphone gimbal, I wish I had brought it out. It's still in my luggage because I just got home. Just attaches to your phone. It's the best. So that little piece of equipment right there that cell phone's sitting on is the best piece of equipment ever. It's and I'm using the 4. They just came out with the 5. It's probably $140. What I love about this, you're pulling yours out.
Yeah, I got the 4 and 5. There was on Groupon a couple weeks ago.
I've got the 5 too. I just bought a second one because it is the smoothest taping. You could be on a safari with the truck going like this, and it'll just come out smooth because it's on a gimbal and it moves up and down like this. You can rotate it. You could be on a skateboard going 1,000,000 miles an hour and that thing would be smooth video. I have used that probably everywhere. And so when I'm doing live video, sometimes when I'm in Egypt, I'm in Luxor, I'm in Karnak Temple, I'm just doing a live video. And instead of just shaking, you're kind of all over the place because you're getting bumped. That thing comes out so smooth on that gimbal. I feel like if you're going to invest in anything, it's got to be in the gimbal.
And Angela, it lets you concentrate as a one-person show. Yeah, it lets you concentrate more on what you're doing and saying and all that, and less on, is my camera steady? Do I have the right angle? Matter of fact, this little helicopter gizmo I've been messing with will follow you around and stay on your face. I'll let you know how that works out. But yeah, let that technology let you focus. And speaking of focus, I'll be quiet now.
No, I love it because we're both geeks. And so
Mm.
anytime I'm like trying to figure out what you've got in your pocket. So, yeah, I mean, when you put two techies together, this is,
Yeah,
what
things
you got.
happen.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think the two must-haves are the ring light, if you're going to do a lot of Facebook Lives, and then also the gimbal for travel, for anything. I use it every single day. It's my best friend. More advanced, if you're going to be doing more interviews, like when we were traveling, we used to do we do a bunch of humanitarian trips with our nonprofit. These lavalier microphones, we take those with us because oftentimes we're in India or Nicaragua or Peru, somewhere crazy, and we just have that lavalier microphone on just for a little bit better sound. And then if you're thinking about doing anything more major like podcasting, then the Rode microphone's really great. But again, those would just be more advanced purchases if you felt like you needed it. But my suggestion, iPhone's your best thing. You don't need to run out and buy a whole Nikon setup. The ring light, amazing, $20. DJI OM5 is $140. The 4 is like $99 now, super cheap on Amazon. So, okay, so that's what I'm kind of using. One of the things I want to talk to you about is setting up your video strategy, knowing why you're doing it. Again, this all goes back to having that business development plan and knowing what your why is. What is your goal? Who is the audience that you're going to try to attract? Okay. I think I've told you in presentations past, and I hope this isn't any of you. And if so, I apologize in advance, but I hate a lot of travel advisors, just social media. It's so whiny. It's so, and I talked about this last time, the stories that they're telling, like, oh, I'm so happy that I got to come down here on this fam so I could better serve you and show you how amazing it is to be a supplier. And, here's a quick video of the restaurant and everything. I'm like, that doesn't encourage me. It's kind of self-serving in a way. I'm like, what you want to do, like your number one goal should be to inspire. Okay. Like I'm always trying to inspire people with color, with, like yesterday I just posted about a whole set of flowers in Alaska and California. It appeals to different people. The dogs appeal to different people. The whales appeal to different people. Went to California, saw Top Gun. That appeals to a whole different group. We look like we're human. I'm again blending in that family life. It's authentic. Like you're seeing my real life, my daily real life. And that means you got to get more comfortable in your own skin and more comfortable behind a camera and more comfortable sharing that. Now, if you're like, I don't know if I want to be the person on video, that's okay. Turn the video the other direction and film what you do see. Okay. But I will tell you, people love people in their videos. Okay. People love you and they follow you because they love you. And ultimately, like I say, time and time again in this series, people buy you. Okay. They're not buying your agency. They're not buying the brand. They're buying you as an advisor. And so get in love with yourself, dig deep in your soul and figure out what you need to do to get past feeling like you can't be on video. Okay. Next, you're going to have to decide what types of videos you want to do. I've got an agent that does a wind down Wednesday, and she has a different supplier on every week. I do a lot of supplier presentations, and we'll look at some of those in a minute. If you want to do interviews, if you want to do presentations, product reviews, video ads, those are some of the things that you've got to look at. Let me go back out to my Facebook for just a minute. Let me go. I have a Facebook group called the Luxury Travel University. It's luxury travel, social media, and marketing. Here's a live video that I just did this morning. This was just one on mental health in the travel industry.
Hey,
this
you
is
guys,
how
I'm Angela Hughes, the luxury travel entrepreneur, and I am here today to give you a 5-minute strategy on how to maintain your mental health while working in this insanity, crazy world, insane world that we're living in right now in the travel industry.
Okay, so you guys can go out and watch that on mental health. But what I'm saying to you is it's so easy just to pop on. I do what's called a 5-minute strategy because I'm a consultant, I'm a business strategist. And so I'll often go into my Facebook group and just give 5-minute strategies to people. They're easy, they're quick, they're fast, they get viewed a lot. Okay. And today I did one on mental health because I feel like there's a lot of advisors who are struggling in mental health right now because of just the craziness of everything. Okay. I want to go ahead and just show you one that we're going to talk about. This is one that I do regularly. Okay, so this was actually one that we did on.
Hey, good morning. I'm Angela Hughes.
So this is actually me talking to a supplier in the Maldives. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do these supplier related things. You know, these videos, we'll talk about the lives in just a minute. You notice, like, I don't need some fancy backdrop. This is just my family room. It's my chair. You can see it behind me. It's, you know, I just pulled up the chair. You don't need to create a whole studio to do this. You just need to do it wherever you've got space. It doesn't need to be amazing. Look at his backdrop. I mean, that's some family room in Puerto Rico. He's a supplier. So nothing fancy behind him. That was a great presentation. We had a lot of people on that. Okay, let me get back to the marketing strategy here. I've got so much going on the screen today. And then at the end of this, you're going to want to monitor your strategy, and we'll talk about how to look at your data, because I feel like at the end of the day, you got to know what your data is. Was it exciting? Did people share it? Did people want to listen to it? I've had some failures. Maybe it's the time of day that I did it. You know, there's so many things to look at. Is it the time of day? Was I exciting? Was I boring? Was the product boring? Was the video too long? Let's talk how long they should be. Okay. When you are doing simple video, Instagram should not be more than 30 seconds. I was with an advisor in France last month, and she does like great video, but she goes on for like just hours. And I said, Kim, love your content. And she goes, what can I do better? And I'm like, you got to cut it down. Yeah, I'm losing attention span every 5 seconds. And that's what you're going to be able to tell in your data, how long people stayed on until they moved on. People's attention span on social media is like this, like a pea. Nobody has a lot of attention span anymore. Our kids don't, we don't. If it's not exciting, we're off of that in 5 seconds. And you can actually see data that shows when people fell out of it. So sometimes I'll do Instagram stories and I can tell, you know, 200 looked at it, then 157 and then 120. I could tell that maybe I did it too long. Maybe people started losing interest. Twitter, 45 seconds. Facebook, we seem to be a little more intelligent on Facebook. I don't know why, but you can watch 1 minute. You know, I try not to ever go above 3 minutes on any video that I'm doing. YouTube, we call it a short. It's 2 minutes long. Okay. After 2 minutes, people lose it on YouTube. Now you're thinking, I can't do a whole supplier training in, you know, like I just did with that Maldives. No, that was a 30-minute video, because now you get into like longer, like you either have to be super short, or you need to be like full of content. And so I would say if you're going to get on with the supplier and do video, you're going to talk travel with that supplier or talk about a brand, then I'd say make it between 20 and 30 minutes. If not, make it short, less than 2 minutes. Okay. So those are going to be my mental rules that I'm going to follow there. And it depends what you're doing. Now, if you're doing a live, like I like to do live trainings with my clients, like I'll be like, oh, we're having a river cruise night where it's a no pressure selling. You just come in to learn. Or we're having a France geography night. You're just coming in to learn. That's different, because I mean, they're actually coming to learn something. Okay. Social media, different ballpark.
I just wanted to chime in real quick, just a little stat for you as far as duration goes. Y'all may have noticed I'm a little gregarious, long-winded. There's always an extra word I can put in a sentence. That having been said, I've done a lot of training down here. The format used to be 45 minutes, 10 years ago, 15, right? What we found is,
because even during COVID, we were doing 45 minutes to an hour and people were watching the whole thing. Yeah.
What we found in the LMS is when we trim that from our target was 35 to 45 minutes at the time. When we trim that target to 5 to 7 minutes, our engagement, time on page, the success rate of passing the quiz, that kind of thing, our KPIs, our key performance indicators for the success of that video, quintupled, went up 5-fold. Same content, exact same content. We just cut it up into smaller pieces. It's less intimidating. It's less of a commitment for the end user. It feels more digestible. Ooh, I can handle, this type of thing. And it makes them feel good about what they're seeing. They can consume it. They can understand it. It's not hard. And now that's that next step, down the road, the communication road with them. But 5-fold increase in engagement when we adjusted the length of our videos to be more appropriate to our target audience. Just thought I'd toss that in.
So was that in your training, just out of curiosity, in your training module or for?
Yeah, the LMS, same
Yeah.
content, chopped it up into 5 to 7 minute content pieces,
Got more
and 5-fold increase in engagement. And what I was really stoked about is a 6-fold increase in the number in the pass rate. So not only were people sticking around, they were getting it.
Mm.
So just a thought for you guys as you look at
I love
duration,
that
link, and
because they were
content.
absorbing more, same content, but
Yep. Quantity
I
versus
think our minds
quality.
have just, and think you used to sit through, like when I taught college, you sit through an hour, sometimes 2-hour courses, people are just fading, even listening live, so, okay. So let's talk about Facebook Lives for a minute. Because I want to talk to you guys about 3 different ways that you can walk away today and get started. So everybody knows and have seen Facebook Live. So if you don't, I just want to dumb it down for you for a minute. And
Angela,
that's
do you want to go live right now? We'll do that next time. I just had to say.
I am live right now. Okay. I'm so under pressure right now. Okay. So the Facebook Live, you can literally, I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay. It will live stream directly to your social network platform. Now, when this is a bust is when you don't have good connectivity. I've been down in the middle of like the Andes or the Rockies or the Alps, and you have like 1 bar. Can't run a Facebook Live on 1 or 2 bars. You really need like 4 to 5 bars on your phone to be able to run a Facebook Live that way. So there's the workaround on that I'm going to give you. Okay. So if you have bad connectivity, that's only going to frustrate the viewer, because once you blank out, which is such a bummer, then you're going to lose that video and you're going to lose the watcher and the viewer, etc. So you can make a recording of the video. It's also published to the page or the profile so it can be watched again. One thing about video is video stays in your content, or it stays in your feed longer. That content keeps recircling. And that's what makes videos so big in social media, is when you make a post or you're attaching like a sandals promo or something, that doesn't stay long in the algorithm. So you want to get on video because you're going to keep moving up that algorithm, and people are just going to keep watching that. And it keeps pushing up to the top, especially if it's good video. Okay. And so I think Facebook Lives are very simple, easy to use. Let me show you how to work them if you don't know. So you're going to go to your profile page or your group, wherever you want to go live. Okay. And then on the sidebar, you're going to click on what's on your mind. And you're going to say, if you're on your profile, you can create a post, and then you're just going to click on live. I mean, it's so easy. You're just going to click on that live video, and then you're going to add a description. I like to add a description right there before I post it, so people know I'm in Zurich, Switzerland right now, giving you, whatever view of the Alps or whatever I'm doing over there. So add your description, and then you're going to use the buttons at the bottom to configure the settings once you're ready to go. Now, let me tell you, in live video, you need to be going horizontal this way or vertical this way. Okay. Not this way on Facebook Live. And the reason why I'm saying that is all of a sudden you're going to be turned this way. That seems like the logical choice, but you've got to shoot vertical. Okay. Anytime that you're doing that. Now, if you're posting not on Facebook Live and you're just making your own video, I want you to always shoot horizontal, because then you don't have the 2 black boxes on the side of you and you're just this much of it. Okay. So always shoot on the horizontal. For Facebook, for YouTube, always shoot on the vertical for Instagram. Sometimes I'll take 2 videos of each thing. If I'm doing a quick video of a bunch of ice glaciers, I'll do that really quick, and then I'll switch it and do this. And then I've got double content to use on multiple platforms. Okay. I know you're thinking that seems like a lot. I don't want to take 2 videos. My phone doesn't have that much storage. You can use it, throw it away, repeat it, whatever you want to do with it. And then all you have to do on this is start your live video when you're ready to go. And once you're live, you are live. That video that I did on mental health today, you got to remember you're live. I mean, there all of a sudden I've got people in Thailand and, you know, Sri Lanka watching, and you got to know what you're going to say, because live can be pretty tricky. And I trip over a lot of words, but again, I think it makes me feel more authentic. Who cares? I'm just, you know, getting some information out there. It doesn't need to be professional. It's not the news. Okay. Okay. Some of the tools that you can use in live videos that I think help people engage more, because what you want people doing is helping people to engage. Okay. People like polls. You notice anytime that you get on a webinar with a supplier, they're running a poll. They like featured links. Okay. And so you're linking them to something. And this goes for both Instagram too. I probably have this on there twice. Because I have some for Instagram on this. I use the featured links a lot in Facebook stories, which we're going to talk about, because now it used to be like, if you didn't have 10,000 fans, then you couldn't link something. And now anybody can link something. And that's great, because I can link them right to a trip that I'm on, or link them right to a page that I want them to see, or link them to a Travify. You can link them to your Facebook group, whatever. Okay. You can do badges. Okay, look at this, donations. If you want to be, you know, a humanitarian. When I was in Ukraine, I raised $45,000 moving refugees in Poland just through Facebook Lives and Instagram stories. And literally I had that tool that Chad and I was telling you about. I was with my refugee families that I was helping move, and I was telling the story of these refugee families following behind me, and money was just coming in. And it's not like I'm some star or anything. I'm just a normal person. But people loved the story that I was telling, and they could see behind me, it was the real deal. And all of a sudden we had raised $45,000 for refugees in Poland while I was there just six weeks ago. And we've been moving them ever since. So thank you if you donated. You can also go live with multiple guests. I'm going to show you a different tool that I use when I do use guests. And you can also use a shopping tool on there. And I'm not equipped to tell you how to live shop, but those are some tools. Okay, I use what's called StreamYard. StreamYard is a live video production tool that you use in your browser in Chrome. You can't use it in Safari. You can only use it in Chrome. I'm an Apple girl, like I said. No offense, Chad. I'm sure you're not. So you got to use Chrome on StreamYard. Okay. There are no downloads, and you don't need anything to get going on that except a computer with a microphone and the camera from your computer. And so to get started, all you're going to do is just launch that program. It does have a monthly fee on it. Well, they have a program that you don't need a subscription for. When you add the subscription, so it's StreamYard.com. When you add a subscription, you get more bang for your buck. But if you feel like you're going to be doing consistent video, I don't go live and I don't use Zoom. Zoom, I feel like the look is not as great for live video. And during COVID, so many people were on Zoom that we'd be in with a supplier talking, and literally like 10 minutes in, it'd cut out and we lost it because of the connectivity issues. So I went to StreamYard to kind of bypass that. Plus, with StreamYard, initially, even with the basic package, you can stream to 3 different places. So I could stream to YouTube at the same time, and to Facebook feed, and also my Facebook group. Okay. So you're going to connect where a destination you want that to stream to. I could stream it to Twitter. I don't have enough followers to stream it to LinkedIn. You've got to have maybe 100,000 followers to do LinkedIn. So that's a bigger ball game, but it's a possibility. And you're just going to create a broadcast on that. It just has instructions. I want to create a broadcast. What time do you want to do it? Where do you want to stream it to? Bam, bam, bam. Okay, go live. And that's all you need to do to get started. And so that looks like, I'm going back to my YouTube again. That's going to come up like this. This is an example of what this StreamYard looks like.
But yeah, once you get into the airport,
and you can, I'll ask questions on here, have different banners going. He didn't want to do a presentation on this. And this was just a chit chat that he paid to do with me. And so we just went back and forth like a television show. Other times I've had suppliers on there who've actually had what am I talking about? Presentation slides. And they're able to pull that up on the screen. So when we've done a river cruise night, or when we've talked with Azamara or whoever, they actually have video and footage up on here that they're showing. So super easy. I love StreamYard. You can logo it out here. And again, I can push this out to YouTube now. Now I can share it on LinkedIn. I can share it on Twitter. I can share it on my website, my blog. I'm repurposing content, and that's what you want to do. That's what I don't like about the Facebook Live versus using a program like StreamYard. Facebook Live is more intensive. Like I can't push that out to other platforms. So, okay. Instagram stories. I think a lot of you know how to do Instagram stories, but I'm surprised how many of you don't know how to do Instagram stories, and that's okay. First of all, when you have your preferred client avatar, let's say that, Instagram, like for me in the luxury and in the premium products, is not going to be my preferred avatar. I mean, it's really not. Instagram's a younger crowd, but I still push a lot of content to Instagram for the stories. Plus I like Instagram just socially. I'm a mom, I have kids. I want to put my life out there, just my real life. But for my ideal client avatar, Instagram's not going to be where it's at, because people that are buying premium and luxe products are on two platforms. They're on LinkedIn and they're also on Facebook. Okay. But the Instagram stories are the real tool of Instagram for me. And I love them. I tell stories all day long on them. So what you're going to do is, on your Instagram story, is you're just going to tap the plus sign at the top. Instead of putting a post up, you're going to scroll to the story and tap on that. And then you can start videotaping right from that, or you can tap to go live from that as well. You can draw on that. You can put words on that. You can put quotes, stickers. You can do a destination pin where you're at. My stories are not planned out. They're not complicated. I'm just telling a story wherever I'm at. Again, authenticity. When I've had like my interns that come over from college to work for me, they're always doing these beautiful like stories for me that are all made up on Japan and everything. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. But I love my real stories. Like, people love to hear from me. And I want to get back to that again, is they want to hear from you. So don't feel like you have to go out and create a ton of pre-content. Just start telling your stories. Sometimes when I'm working, I'll just be like, pop it on. Like I'm going to do this right now. Okay, just hit story here. Camera's on. Twisted it around. It's on you guys now. And I'm just going to right now go. Hold on, let me get it focused here, because I'm under pressure. Hey, right now I am teaching this amazing class on Instagram stories to a bunch of advisors with the Outside Agents group. And we're talking Instagram stories right now. And so right now I am teaching. Now I'm going to upload that and just share that. And you know what? People are like, oh, great. Angela's an expert. Instagram stories, not really, but you know what? They're getting a glimpse into what my daily life looks like. So if you go out to @trips&ships and follow me, you're going to see that pop right up. Do that. When you're booking a trip, you don't have to be on the trip. You can just be like, oh, hey, I'm working right now on this bungalow in Tahiti and it's amazing. And tell a little bit about 30 seconds. People love that. They hadn't thought about it. Maybe you don't have a story to tell because you're not traveling right now. Maybe you're trapped at home taking care of your dad with dementia. That's okay. My dad has dementia. I get that whole story. Maybe you can't travel. There's so many things that you can talk about on your stories, and you don't even need to leave your house to do that. Okay. Now, remember, your stories will fade away after 24 hours. And so I use the profile button on your profile. You can add them to story highlights. So I have a story highlight button for like Alaska, one for France, one for Italy. So anytime I'm in those countries, you can add up to 100 stories to those. Now, you know what else I do in Instagram stories? Anytime I get a text or I see an amazing photo of my client, I will just go on, screenshot that off of Facebook, and I will put that on my story. So I'll be like, client, and I always cover their name, you know, because I don't want somebody's house to get robbed or whatever. But I'll always put client and, you know, have their picture or their comment about their trip. And I'll be, client is in Tahiti today, loving it, da da da, you know. And or if they give me a thank you, they text me a thank you note, I'll or feedback, I'll screenshot that and I'll put that in my story as a client review. It doesn't have to be some big drawn up thing that you did in Canva or some creative thing. And then I'll just move that to my story highlights. So people can just run through my highlights and see all the great feedback that I've had as an advisor. And they can see that we've got clients in France. We've got clients in Switzerland today. We've got clients in Hawaii, all these different things. And that just becomes part of the feed. It doesn't matter that I'm in Alaska, all of a sudden I'm going to pop in a client review. Okay. Okay. We just talked about the hacks in an earlier slide, so I won't spend a lot of time on this because I want to take questions today. But one of the biggest things I want you to remember is video marketing is about creating engagement. It's with you. Okay. It's not so much about the brands, the fonts, the colors. It's about you being in your own authentic story and then creating engagement. That means you need to be also responding to other people's social media. Social media is a two-way tool. Okay. And you want to engage people, but you also want to engage back. Okay. Finally, let's talk about measuring your success. Look at your analytics. Okay. Facebook analytics gives users a chance to view how well their video is doing. And so you can look in to see, did anybody watch that? When did they drop off? Chad just says he watches those analytics. They knew if they chopped down their video to 5 minutes to 7 minutes, they were getting a longer viewer attention span. Okay. So look at your analytics. I look at things and go, when I post stuff and I'm thinking, wow, I only had 400 viewers on that. Okay. That wasn't a huge success. Maybe it was a content. Maybe I looked ugly in that. I don't know. Maybe I was boring. Now I look back at that Alaska video and I'm like, oh, it wasn't that great. But maybe it was a huge success. Maybe you got 2,000 views. Maybe it went viral. Who knows? Look at your analytics to see. And if you only have 5 people, next time, try to get 10. We're not talking that you, or implying that you have to go viral with every single video you do, because you're not. Most normal people are not going to go viral. Okay. What I want you to do is just improve your analytics a percentage from where they were last time you posted something. Again, it's not about how many followers you have or how viral everything goes. At the end of the day, it's bringing in customers who become warmer in that whole marketing pattern. And we've talked about that before, because social media and video is top level marketing. We want them to become warmer and come through the funnel. So now we're talking to them more. We're sending them things that we can funnel to them. And then we're eventually going to close or, you know, help them buy and close a deal. So it's not about how many followers you have. It's about bringing them through the marketing funnel so you actually close a sale at the end of the day. Okay. Same with Instagram.
Isn't that the point? Just real quick, that depth of engagement leads to conviction, leads to belief, which empowers your agents or your clients to make good decisions. And they should be the decisions that you wanted to make. Remember, we're recommending things that in our professional opinion, in our experience, and in our hearts, we believe is right for our client. We're not trying to trick them into buying something they don't need, right? So creating that confidence, creating that feeling of connection, do all that. Trust me, it will work. And look at your numbers. Your numbers may tell you something that you find to be unbelievable. What? Chop the video down from 35 minutes to 5 minutes and I'm going to quintuple my engagement? Yes, just believe the numbers. Question them, understand them, test things, and move forward. You'll be all right.
Yeah, I love that. Same thing with Instagram. I think Chad wrapped that up there as well. So, okay, do we have time for questions? Actually,
yeah, I saw a few come through. They're kind of interesting. First of all, this is so good. I wish I wasn't on a dang call. This is going to be posted. Yeah, we'll have it up in a couple, probably next week for you, Karen. Another question was, what's the best ROI platform for people who are looking to move into luxury?
The best platform, like in terms of like, I feel like Facebook and LinkedIn for sure.
Because of the depth of engagement, they're on page a little
Yeah,
longer,
and you're
that kind of thing.
talking, you've got to look at where like the spending is, and that's where the dollars are. And Instagram's a lower, 22 to 45. It doesn't mean that you don't have millennials on there that spend money, but premium and luxury space, you're always looking at platforms where the boomers are, 45 plus. So 55
Then
plus.
I would argue also that we're looking for places. It's kind of like I do with my articles every so often. Sometimes I'll write them so everybody in the room, gets it and everybody's happy, all that. Sometimes I'll write them so they're a little bit more challenging. And so I filter out some people that aren't going to be ready for that message just yet.
Right.
That's okay to do because I'm speaking their language. I'm speaking, Angela, sometimes off the camera, we drop some acronyms and words and stuff like that we wouldn't necessarily do here.
Right,
Kind
right.
of the same idea. We're just tuning our message a little bit to the audience. That's all.
Yeah, I see there's a question on there. Do you ever use TikTok?
Yeah,
I'm
that was the next.
starting to use TikTok. Just because my assistant's making me. I dread like having to do another platform because it's time consuming. She's convinced you have so much footage, you could just put it up there. To be honest, the reason why I'm not using TikTok is I'm time stretched at this point.
Saturated at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that you need to decide where you're going to put your time right now. I have thousands of followers on Facebook. That's where a lot of my people are. I'm on Instagram.
So you've hit that quantity level where now you can really focus in on quality.
Yeah. I mean, TikTok's it's a different animal. And I do feel like that platform is the next big thing, but again, I'm looking for conversion at the end of the day, not so much followers. So I'm looking to convert and sell. I'll tell you something that just happened probably 3 weeks ago. One of my husband's friends, he hasn't talked to him since high school, reached out to me. He says, I've been following you on Facebook for years. There's a group of 5 of us, 5 different couples that want to do the Norwegian forts, and we got them booked. And he says, I only log on to Facebook to follow your feed. And I'm like, okay, who is this stalker?
I love it.
Like, this is crazy because people, you post stuff out there and you kind of think nobody's really reading it. But there's an interesting thing about social media that people become attached to stories.
Yes.
For me, I don't care at all about the trial of Amber, whoever, and Pirates of the Caribbean guy. And it's popping up in my feed like constantly because I read one article on it. And then all of a sudden I'm following the trial. And that's what happens in social media is like, and finally
they got you engaged implicitly, and now explicitly you're seeking that content out, folks. There's a lesson there. There's a lesson there.
Which is so stupid. I could care less about them, but all of a sudden it's popping up on everything I'm doing. But the thing is, people will become attached to you. And I've told stories of how I see people in airports and they're like, oh gosh, I follow you, and I'm like, okay, that's creepy, really. But then what do I expect? I post every day, And, I think that you've got to look at your mental health too, when you get into the social media world and wonder if, you can take a social media break, you can take a social media fast, you can pull back. It's not going to kill your algorithm. They say it does, but guess what? If you need to take a minute from social media, from travel, from whatever, do it, because I think mental health is completely important in being a good entrepreneur as well.
And speaking of mental health and all that, there's one question up here I got to touch bases on. And it drives me crazy. So folks, we live in a very litigious society. It's really easy to go mess with somebody nowadays. The question, Angela, was when you interview other people and suppliers in your videos, do you secure a release from them?
That is such a great question. And you know what? I think the answer should be yes. Have I been doing it? No.
There you go. Yeah.
I think the answer is yes, because I've worked in PR enough to know that I think you got to have a signed release on everything that, maybe that's something you just put in your DocuSign and be like, hey, great, we're going to do this. Do you mind signing this? And I'm glad that you brought that up. I haven't thought about that. We've done releases for everything from our trips to, I'm very cautious when I share someone's photo that's traveling.
It's funny, that's exactly what I was getting to. Check this out. And I know we just got a minute, but this is actually happening right now. Okay. We're bringing in some new marketing tools for our agents. There's going to be a ton of content, right? And the publisher of the content has, all the releases and licenses. When you're doing something at this scale and you're releasing it to almost 7,000 agents, there's a lot of paperwork, right? The one thing is one of their sources of images, he has an exclusion in the IP, intellectual property agreement, about models' faces. There's one source, I'll name it Canva, where this publisher, probably through just a boo-boo from Canva, didn't secure a model's release, which they had secured full rights to, but they didn't have the model's release behind it. So how do you answer the question? The default answer is, yeah, get a release. It's not that big of a deal. The other thing is, consider what the potential is for it becoming litigious down the road, and then finally, make sure you understand what it is that you're licensing. You can have somebody say, hey, you can use my picture, for advertising, and that's not necessarily legally binding. Okay, so there's some considerations in there, but having something on paper which expresses intent, at least expresses intent, if not an agreement, is very important nowadays. And so in summary, in a very boiled down sort of way, don't get into intellectual property law. It's a pain in the butt. If you just keep your email saying, yeah, I'd love to be interviewed. We'll do that Thursday, that kind of thing. At least that's a step should you end up in a legal situation.
Yeah, and
So,
in fact, I mean, if you're carrying errors and admission insurance, which you all should be carrying, I would definitely add on the writer of the social media website. Yeah, copyright, because
so we have a
I've
copyright
seen-
writer on ours.
Yeah,
So
I've
it's come
seen
in
a
handy.
ton of advisors who have posted a Disney photo or posted footage that was not theirs that have been sued. And when I shot photography for 3 years, and I mentioned this before, there are people out there who just have made it a full-time job to scan the internet to find if you're using their footage, So if you're going to use footage, Unsplash is free. But I always just have my own. I know that your program has images that you can use through subscription. I have my own Shutterstock account. I only use my own Shutterstock or my own images now, because I can't afford for a crazy to come after me, because they've made it a full-time living to hunt people
To
down.
do this, yeah, Photo Scout, Getty Images, I can name those SOBs. I hate them because they do that. You'll get this 12-page nastygram. It's real scary, demanding $1,700 for a photo they took 9 years ago. That's available on Wikipedia. They're not suing Wiki. They're after you because they know that we'll roll over. It's a lot easier to give you a few $100 than go to court.
Yeah.
It's usury. So that's kind of negative. On the positive side, the social media thing, Angela, I think you really conveyed the essential nature of being authentic. You got to be real, right? I think we talked about some equipment and some other things that are going to help make your day go a lot easier as you create this stuff. One of the things I really took away from you is that you're going to mess up. Things are going to happen. It's okay. It's part of the package. They want to know that you're human and not just some automaton, regurgitating whatever they heard. And finally, I think one of the most key things I came out of here is just the importance of understanding what your target audience is hearing and what you want them to hear. Duration's a function of that. Time on page is a function of that. There's a lot of pieces to that puzzle, but understanding that will help with your success. Is there anything else you can add to that, or did I just repeat everything?
No, I just want you to walk away with 3 things that you're going to do today. Write down 3 things, a goal, because there's no point in just showing up for a lecture.
I can't agree more. Go do something. Yes.
Yeah, without doing something. So at least write down one thing that you're going to do. I always, when I'm speaking publicly, even internationally, I'll be like, today, just do one video. This week, do one video.
In fact, folks, I'll challenge you this. Y'all can see
yeah.
a list of everybody here today. Shoot a little welcome video. Go in there in the forum, post it. Don't spam us, but show some examples. I'd love it if you go up there and maybe post the one that's your second favorite. Get that feedback. Be open to that feedback. Remember, it's not personal. I've done a lot of theater. I've been on stage a lot. When the director tells you that you didn't do that well, it's not rude. It's not an insult. It's not that you did anything wrong. It's they can see the big picture and they think that you ought to go this way or that. So don't be afraid to take some feedback from your peers. And also don't believe each individual's opinion. Get the vibe that's coming toward you. Go play. Go have fun with the camera. And folks, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Angela, as always, I just love having you on. It's the
Thank you.
insights, it's the dirty boots, and you're pretty cool too. So I look forward to seeing you again. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. Okay.
Okay, see you later.